Welcome to Good as Gold, the podcast where we'll share how Olympic dreams are actually human stories. I'm Sarah Hughes, Olympic champion in figure skating 2002 Salt Lake City, and your host for this journey behind the medal.
I was on the phone with Michael Phelps, and that's why I was late. And he said, "Oh, give Sarah my best. I love her to death. We've done a lot of stuff together and blah, blah, blah." It was the Sarah Love Fest. I am so excited about just chatting with you. You're like a legend. I told my wife, I go, "I'm going to be on a Sarah Hughes. Oh my God." She's like huge fan. So I'm fanboying myself. So cool. It's cool.
Did you know right away that this was something that you'd want to spend a lot of your time doing?
I did. It kind of goes back to what you say about rowers being very tight, right? Like, I was an awkward kid, didn't have a lot of friends. And then I went down to the boathouse and I was like, these are my people. These are fellow, tall, awkward kids. They will be my friend. And also I was good at it pretty much right away. So when you're good at something, you want to do it more and then you get better at it. And it was this virtuous cycle where I improved very quickly, and that was very validating.
So all of a sudden, we're like, it's not only about going to the Olympics anymore. Now we're like, well, we want to win a medal at the Olympics. So the mindset shifts a little bit. So I remember when we were like at that nationals, when we got named to the Olympic team, it really was like relief. Like, okay, we did it. Now let's move on. Let's figure out how to win a medal in Sochi. So it wasn't like as much of the euphoric feeling I thought it was going to be. So that was like kind of, I guess, my first hint that I was not in the right mental space at that point. And then we won the silver medal in the team event. We had a great skate in that event. And then we went into our own pairs event. We had a great skate in the short program and then a very poor free skate, and we finished 7th. And I actually spent like the rest of those Olympics feeling like, woe is me, like down on my luck. I stepped on the ice for our final long program in the pairs event at the Olympics. So relaxed. And like, no one thinks that you're going to step on the ice for an Olympic program relaxed. But it was the most calming, like serene feeling. Like it was peace. I felt so peaceful when we skated that program.
I mean, that's your Olympic moment. That's what you said. Like, you're watching, 94, 98, 02, and being like, this is what I want.
Now, when selection finally came around, I didn't do very well. One day, the coach called me into his office, and he said, "Well, I think you know what I'm going to say." And I said, "Yeah, I do. I'm cut, right? Like, this is it." And he said, "Yeah, I can't give you any more chances. You got to go home." But then he said something I didn't expect. He said, with the way you've shown up in the last few months and your actions in support of this team, you've shown that you're a true Olympian. A lot of the women on this team don't yet know, they might never know what it means to be an Olympian, but you've shown you're a true Olympian. And with that, I gathered up my stuff, slung my bag over my shoulder, walked out of the boathouse. Actually walked right by a group, like the team, the women who were looking like they were going to make the team. They were stretching kind of at the side of the boat bay, and I walked right by them, and I didn't say anything. I couldn't even look at them because I knew that if I did, I would cry, and I didn't want to cry. So I just walked out and got in my car and drove away. And the same woman who had given me that feedback about, we think you're entitled, I spoke to her months later, actually, and she said, that day when you walked out of the boathouse and you didn't even say goodbye to anyone, I thought, this can't be how Caryn Davies ends her rowing career. Like, she is a legend. She can't just walk out and not say goodbye. But that wasn't how it ended. Over the next few days, I got messages from almost everyone on the team saying, "Hey, thanks so much for helping me get better." One woman said, "I couldn't have gotten through this year without you." I have so much respect for you, more than almost anyone else in my life. Thanks for being a mentor to me. And getting those messages, I realized that I'd actually won something more important than another Olympic gold medal. I'd won the trust and respect of my teammates. And I also figured out what it was, like why I rode all those years and what I missed when I retired. I really just wanted a community. I just wanted a place where I belonged and where people cared whether or not I showed up. And the thing is, once I realized what I was looking for, I realized also that you can find that in other places in your life if you're just intentional about it. So retiring for the second time was much easier because I didn't have to lose my community.
I'm crying.
I still cry a little bit when I tell that story.
Having one of the best floor teams of my life, and kind of running off thinking, okay, I think you did it. Like, I think that was good enough, and running into my coach's arms, and we're thinking we did it, and kind of waiting those couple minutes, for the score to come up. Cause you're like, well, what did they see? Or, what did they take off here? So you're just hoping that you did it. And then all of a sudden, my score comes up and I see Carly Patterson, USA, #1. And that moment where, my coach just throws me up on his shoulders and I'm crying and, he's saying, you did it, we did it. And, we're just waving to everybody in the arena and, just seeing people chant USA and, wave the American flag all around. And it's one of the most incredible, surreal feelings of your life that that feeling.
I mean, what's the difference, I guess, for you or for in the rowing community between being part of the Olympic experience or being named to the Olympic team versus a world championship or a World Cup?
The competition itself is actually really similar. I mean, it's like the same people doing the same thing, right? Like everyone ups their game in an Olympic year, but at the same time, you look around and you're like, okay, well, I know who's going to be fast. I've seen these people at the last 3 world championships. This is not a real surprise. The difference is suddenly everyone else in the world cares. And so there's just a lot more pressure. Like you get to the venue and there's all these like sponsor signs and flags and cameras and, press conferences. And so I think the athletes who are the most successful are the ones who can just kind of like not let that affect them. We're just rowing. Like, we're just out here to have a good time. And in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big a deal. In fact, so in 2008, our coach, he was great at like pre-race prep. He was always so calm, like really good at just like getting us in the right mindset. And his pre-race speech to us in Beijing in 2008 went something like this. All right. So this is just another race. Like, you guys have been winning. Now, at that point, we'd won the last 2 world championships and like every World Cup. He's like, you guys have been winning for years, just like go out there and do what you always do. It's really not a big deal. And we were all like, yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, yeah, we'll just go out there and do what we always do, which is win. And then we did, right? And we get back to the dock and he meets us on the dock and we're about to go get our medals. And he says, you remember what I said about this being another race? That was bullshit. This is the bleeping Olympics and you just won a bleeping Olympic gold medal. And I just remember feeling like, wait, you lied? But it was exactly what we needed to hear.
I mean, when you were in LA in 84, did you feel that support from the crowd?
Absolutely. No question about it. I think that was a big part of why I won. I know it sounds corny, but I really felt that energy from the crowd, man. I felt, most people I ever swam in front of, Sarah, was probably like 20. And all of a sudden there's 20,000, in this big arena in LA or not arena, but outdoor stadium. So I just felt the electricity, and because I wasn't the best swimmer in 84, we could have swum that race 10 times and I would have lost 9 of them. I should have been 4th or 5th. But that one perfect moment and everything worked out perfect on my start. But not to digress, but it really was that the energy of that crowd that helped me form.
Like life is hard. Gymnastics was hard. Life is hard. And we get to choose whether or not we want to work hard at the things that we are doing, every single day, right? And the priorities that are in our life. And so I just kind of always have that same mindset and mentality from the gym in my everyday life. But also being a wife, being a mom to 3 little kids is my biggest accomplishment, my biggest life accomplishment and dream and goal to raise, the family that I prayed for, the family that I dreamed about. So it's really the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life.
I think like someone like you who's had such, reached the highest level in what you were doing to now have this whole, like seeing like there's a whole life after reaching the pinnacle of something that, you thought for the first part or the first few chapters was like, everything that you were doing. Yeah. Everything. And now to have, find purpose and fulfillment in the day-to-day challenges also, but, to be able to like have the tools to overcome things and look forward and support others is really wonderful. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and join us on this journey. And remember, behind every gold medal is a story worth telling.